have a quorum tonight. If we could have roll call, please, Tracy.
President Stovall?
Here.
Trustee Lundy.
Here.
Trustee Bonnie? Trustee Michaels?
Here.
Trustee Special?
Here.
Trustee London? Trustee Roscoff?
Here.
And please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll now have the swearing in of our new officer, Zachary Turnbull. All right, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Zachary Turnbull,
I, Zachary Turnbow,
having been appointed as a police officer
have been appointed a police officer
for the Village of Sugar Grove Police Department
for the Village of Sugar Grove Police Department
in the County of Kane,
in the County of Kane,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Village of Sugar Grove Code of Ordinances,
and the Code of Ordinances for the Village of Sugar Grove.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
I will faithfully discharge the duties
of police officer of the Sugar Grove Police Department
of police officer of the Sugar Grove Police Department
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
And we now appoint you as a police officer for the Village of Sugar Grove. We now have a proclamation honoring Finance Director Matt Anastasia. I just wanted to say a couple of things, and then I'll have you come up and we'll read the proclamation. I've only had a chance to work with Matt for a short time, but I have to say it's really inspiring. So I looked at the entire situation and I was like, I wonder why he's leaving. But, you know, he was happy with Sugar Grove. He liked all of his coworkers. He was happy with the position, and he still just wanted more, wanted to follow his dreams. And I think that level of ambition is very inspiring to everyone in Sugar Grove to always continue to, you know, reach for more and pursue your dreams. So, if you want to. Whereas on February 6, 2017.
Yeah, we should be 2017.
Okay.
It says 2027.
Yeah, it says 2027. So on February 6, 2017, Matthew Anastasia started working with the Village of Sugar Grove as the finance director, bringing expertise, dedication, and an unwavering commitment to excellence. And whereas through thoughtful planning, careful fiscal management, and innovative leadership, Matthew Anastasia established strong capital programs for both the Water Fund and the General Fund, ensuring the Village of Sugar Grove is positioned for future successes. Whereas Matthew Anastasia has exemplified professionalism and diligence in financial management, providing a foundation that will serve the village and its residents for many years to come. He leaves a legacy of sound financial practices and a culture of excellence for his coworkers and successors. Whereas beyond the budgets and balance sheets, Matthew Anastasia has been a valued colleague whose sense of humor brightened the workplace and whose camaraderie strengthened the village team. Whereas although Matthew Anastasia will be leaving the Village of Sugar Grove on October 3rd, 2025, the lasting impact of his work and character will be continued to be felt long after his departure. Whereas Matthew Anastasia is not just a trusted coworker, but an incredible person whose legacy of integrity, dedication, and good humor will be deeply missed. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that myself and the Board of Trustees of the Village of Sugar Grove, on behalf of the entire community, hereby recognize and honor Matthew Anastasia for his outstanding service as Finance Director. We express our heartfelt appreciation and wish him every success and happiness as he embarks on the next chapter of his journey.
Yeah. I just want to say thank you. I know I haven't worked with everybody for a long time, some are here, but I've really enjoyed Sugar Grove. It was a big stepping stone for me in my career. It's been 8.5 years now, so it's flown by, but it was the time for me to make a pretty big decision to make a move across the country. But it's been a life goal to end up there, so decided it was the best time to give that a shot. I hope to see people around. I'm still quasi in government, not working in government, but I'll be working in government software. So I'll be working for BSNA, who is our current provider. So I'll be still serving the government side, but just from a different aspect. So hopefully I'll still see people around, but I do really appreciate everything and all the support. It's been a long time with my department heads, and I know Scott's relatively new, but it feels like it's been a long time too. So I really do. It kind of you fit right into what our culture was. I think that was a good thing. So I'm here to help. I know we're talking about that, but I don't want it to be October 3rd comes and I'm gone. So if there is any need, I'm always here.
And that's actually on the agenda
So,
tonight.
yeah.
We're not around even after you leave.
But I do appreciate everything from everybody I worked with and all my colleagues, and staff has been great. So I do appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wish you the best.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thank you.
I forgot to see that.
He's got one.
Right, next on the agenda, we have a presentation of the fiscal year ending April 30th, 2025 annual comprehensive financial report from Jennifer Martinson of Lauterbach and Amen.
Good evening. You want me to just start?
Yeah.
Awesome. Great.
Jump right in.
Good evening. Yes, I'm Jennifer Martinson with Lauterbach and Amen. I'm here to present the audit results for the fiscal year ended April 30th, 2024. I do want to start by thanking Matt and Brett and the rest of the team at the Village for all of their hard work during the audit process. It really is a 6-month process from when we have our first planning meeting through the internal control review, testing at fieldwork, to presenting in front of the board this evening. So we appreciate all the hard work that goes into preparing for the audit. And I have to say, it has been such a pleasure working with you over the years, Matt. We will certainly miss you and wish you all the best. All right, so as the board knows, an audit is required to be completed by state statute each fiscal cycle. And so really the goal of the audit is for us as your auditors to be able to provide an opinion on the financial statements presented this evening. And we have done that. We have issued an unmodified opinion, which is a clean audit opinion. That is the highest opinion that we can issue, and that really just means that the financial statements are materially correct or do in fact accurately represent the financial position of the village. So really probably most important piece of information for this presentation is that we have that clean, unmodified opinion. I know there's a lot of information. It's a rather large document, so I will point out just a few areas to highlight for the board this evening. There are 3 sections. You'll have your introductory section, your financial section, and your statistical section. Within that first introductory section, there's 2 things I just wanted to note. I will say page numbers. Feel free to flip or jot them down if you want to look at them later. But we do have the transmittal letter, which is on page 3 there right in the very beginning. And that's really a non-financial introductory letter to the village as a whole. So some really good information from management, again, introducing the village and the audit report. On page 10, we have what we call the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting that was awarded to the village for the fiscal year ended April 30th, 2024. Again, I know it's been many, many years. The village has received this award, and it really just speaks highly to the transparency of the financial reporting for the village. So congratulations again for that award for fiscal year 2024. And we do anticipate that you will receive that award again once this 2025 report is submitted. The next section in your financial section, starting on page 17, is what we call the MD&A, or Management's Discussion and Analysis. And so this is really where I would encourage you to spend most of your time. It's only about 12 pages, so it takes this rather large, 160 plus page report and really summarizes everything nicely into those 12 pages. So it's kind of the executive summary to the audit report. It's a narrative summary of all of the information to follow, and it's really going to touch on those highlights and key changes for the year. So I feel if I encourage you to spend your time there, you'll have a good understanding of everything that occurred throughout the year in the financial report. Just to touch briefly on some highlights. Overall, governmental fund balances did increase approximately $960,000, with ending fund balance across those governmental funds of $15.5 million, of which $2.5 million is in your general or your operating fund. I do also want to point out your budgetary comparison schedules towards the back, starting on page 95, and they continue in more detail on page 100. Just another good area for the board to draw your attention to be able to review the revenues and expenditures in comparison to actual in more detail for the year for those funds. And then finally, the last section is your statistical section, all the way in the back there, starting on page 128. If you've heard me discuss the audit previously, I say this is, the most interesting or fun part of the audit report, if there was one there. So this is going to really highlight 10 years of trend information for the Village of Sugar Grove. So on a variety of topics, fund balances, revenues, expenditures. So a lot of really, really nice information all in one place there. Additionally, we do have what we call the management letter, which is the smaller document you would have received. And this is really just our way to communicate with the board if there was anything that came up through the audit process, recommendations for best practices, upcoming standards that we have to comply with. So you'll see that it's rather small. There's not very much in here. We just have to highlight that there is one fund with deficit net position. And the next page is again highlighting a few funds that are over budget for the year. And that last page is just informational to let you know that we do have some upcoming GASB, or Governmental Accounting Standards Board statements, that we have to comply with, and we'll work closely with the village team as those are due.
Thank you very much.
Yes, yeah. Additionally, I was just going to say we would be required to communicate if we had any difficulties during the audit or disagreements with management. I'm happy to say that we did not. So clean audit, we really appreciate staff assistance throughout the whole project.
Thank you.
Be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
I don't have anything at this time.
Hearing none, we will move on to the next agenda item, and thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much. Have a great night.
You too. The next item on the agenda is a recommendation from myself as president to appoint Carrie Ann Dubina to the Plan Commission Zoning Board of Appeals with a term expiration of May 1st, 2028. Carrie Ann is a Forest Preserve employee. She's a community volunteer, and I tried to find someone that met the criteria that every single one of the board members had asked me for. Does anyone have any questions?
No, I make the motion to appoint Carrie Ann Dubina.
We have a first from Trustee Michaels. Is there a second?
I'll second.
And a second from Trustee Roscoff. If we could have the roll call, please, Tracy.
Trustee Michaels?
Aye.
Trustee Roscoff?
Aye.
Trustee Special?
Aye.
Trustee Lindy?
Aye. The ayes have it, and Carrie Ann Dubina is now appointed to the Planning Commission Zoning Board of Appeals with a term expiration of May 1st, 2028. I also forgot to say, separate from this item, I meant to say it earlier, but today is Trustee Roscoff's birthday, and so I want to wish him a happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Next up on the agenda, we have airport report from Trustee Special.
No report.
No report this evening. And now we'll have public comment on scheduled action items. The consent agenda items are the approval of the September 2nd, 2025 Village Board meeting minutes, approval of the vouchers, approval of the August 2025 Treasurer Report, approval, acceptance of fiscal year ending April 30th, 2025 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, and a resolution approving commercial property enhancement program application for American Legion Post 1271. The general business items tonight, open for public comment, will be an ordinance amending Title V, Chapter 4, Animal Control of the Village Code, and a resolution adopting a work from home policy for the village of Sugar Grove. Is there anyone signed up for public comment?
Nobody signed up for public comment. There are a few folks in the room though.
I'd like to make public comments
Okay.
about the work from home thing that was proposed last week. I just wanted to comment as a member of the community, somebody who's involved in hiring, particularly people in the current crop of the hiring pool. It's very important to have work from home as an option. If it's taken off the table, it eliminates a huge population of potential hirees. I think it's something that we should consider. That's just the 2 cents I had. I think it's very important to get a new finance director. If that's not part of the package, I think we're going to have a real tough time finding somebody.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Are there any other public comments? All right, hearing none, we will close public comment at this time. Would anyone like to remove an item from the consent agenda? Is there a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make that motion.
We have a first from trustee Michaels. Is there a second?
Second.
And a second from trustee Special. The consent agenda is approved. I'm sorry, Tracy, please call the roll.
Trustee Michaels?
Aye.
Trustee Special?
Aye.
Trustee Lundy. Trustee Roscoff?
Aye.
The ayes have it and the consent agenda is approved. We will now move on to general business. We have an ordinance amending Title V, Chapter 4, Animal Control of the Village Code. Is there a motion and a second to discuss and vote on item 11A?
I can make that motion.
We have a first from trustee Michaels. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a second from trustee Roscoff and Danny. Marion will be presenting this item.
Okay, you guys discussed this proposed text amendment at the previous board meeting. What was being proposed was limiting the types of animals and the number of animals in the residential district. That was not a favor to the board. You guys asked staff to come back with something else that did not limit the types of animals as much as we were trying to do. The other item that the board requested staff to revise was the minimum square footage of the coop and the pen area for residential chicken keeping. So we've listened and we proposed a minimum of 4 square feet per hen for the coop area. But in addition to that, they also have to have a minimum of 8 square feet per hen for the pen area, adjoining pen. These changes are reflected in the Exhibit A that is attached to the ordinance that is provided for your approval tonight.
And how'd you come up with those square footages?
So the 4 square foot for the coop area is based on research that we did from surrounding communities, and we reached out to the Farm Bureau, and trustee Lundy provided us with some good information because she has kept chickens, so she's got experience with it. And then same with the pen area was some information that trustee Lundy provided us with her experience as well.
Thanks, Heidi.
Yeah, and I think some of the other, like Lombard had some
Yes,
pen area
yeah.
requirements too, so.
Thank you.
I just have a quick question. So if somebody had more than 4 dogs or cats already previous to this date, would they have to get rid of them then? Like the number over 4?
I'm going to defer to our village attorney because I know there's King County ordinances that match this 4 also. And it was in our code before, so I'm not sure how exactly we would address it.
It'd be an enforcement question. We haven't officially grandfathered them in.
Okay,
Are we aware
right.
of?
We've had some complaints, but I'm not aware of any particular situations for sure within the village.
How would you verify they had it before?
Well, that's the question. Are we aware of any complaints? I mean, if it's
There was one complaint that I know that the police got called out to, but.
from multiple, we should talk about what we're gonna do with that. If it's one specific complaint, we should figure that one out.
Yeah.
So that'll be just, for now, a case by case.
I mean,
Technically,
this also
code,
codifies what was before too.
yeah, technically this
Yes,
code is
it
there.
was in there, it just got
Right.
dropped along the way somehow, so we're kind of putting it back in.
And the problem is also like, it exists somewhere, we don't know where,
Yeah.
so it's.
It's on our website.
It's
been
on our website, yeah, it's been on the website.
Okay, yeah, I forgot you mentioned that last time.
Sorry, I'm just reading it over really quick. And then, so, just to clarify, so, this ordinance that will be up for a vote, it only addresses dogs, cats, and chickens.
Essentially, yes.
Okay.
The residential chicken keeping section, we added some items to, and then we're adding the 4 dogs and 4 cats back into our code.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? Can we have roll call, please, Tracy?
Trustee Michaels?
Here's your question first. You said cats, cats, 4 dogs, 4 cats, okay, you're right. Okay.
Trustee Michaels?
Aye.
Trustee Roscoff?
Aye.
Trustee Lundy,
Aye.
Trustee Special?
Aye.
The ayes have it, and ordinance amending Title 5, Chapter 4, Animal Control of the Village Code is approved. We now have a resolution adopting a work from home policy for the Village of Sugar Grove. Is there a motion and a second to discuss and vote on item 11B?
I'll make the motion.
We have a first from Trustee Roscoff. Is there a second?
I'll second.
And a second from Trustee Michaels. Scott Koppel will be presenting this item.
Thank you. At the last meeting, the village board had a discussion about the potential work from home policy that was drafted by staff and presented. I would say the discussion was mixed. It came back with a consensus that wasn't exactly clear, so I went back, talked to staff about it, met with the village president, and we thought that the best fit from the discussion was to lower the number of work from home days from 4 per month to 2, but still allow, at the administrator's approval, to have longer leave, work from home, such as family medical need or care needs. So there was some support for whether it be a sick family member, perhaps a COVID isolation order that you got from your doctor, that it's very important that we can keep certain employees still working during that time and not having them use sick leave, or if they're caring for a sick family member under special circumstances, that would be able to happen as well. So I've highlighted on page 19 of your packet the different changes that were made and updated on the policy as presented during the last meeting. As I said last time as well, if this is adopted today, it'll go into effect immediately, and then we will, and next time we update the employee handbook, add this to the employee handbook as well. Try to just do one employee handbook revision every year or so, because when we do that, there are certain rules about getting it to employees, getting them to sign off on it, but we will send an email to all employees letting them know about the new policy down through department heads, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Is there any discussion?
How did staff, you talk to your staff about these changes and how are they receptive, or just trying to get a feel?
Yeah, so they would have been more comfortable probably with the 4, but understanding it is government, it's different than the private sector, where it seems work from home is a lot more common. So they were all understandable with that. The 2 days a month would be welcome, because there are things like, I remember a couple times, just bring up Michael Casa because he's not here, it's not a private thing or whatever, but he got his stove repaired or something. And it's nice to be able to still work that day and have minimal interference if you have somebody coming over to your house. So being able to have that flexibility 2 days a month, I thought was big. And I do know that it is important from some of the recruitment and that I've done, and when we're now starting to look for a finance director, being able to offer this, it is something that it is important, because there are needs where it's for an appointment or what have you, to not have to take a day off to be able to do something like that is a big deal. So it's important for staff, and this will be welcome. Also, just having the rules that exist, I think, will help the department heads. So when they're getting questions, they're not always having to, before it kind of came out of COVID, we didn't really do it much before COVID from my understanding. COVID happened where you kind of had to do it. And then afterwards, everybody still wanted to include it. But now with it being codified, I think having set rules is going to be very helpful for the department heads, so they can answer questions from their staff.
Is there any other discussion? All right, can we have roll call, please, Tracy?
Trustee Roscoff?
Aye.
Trustee Michaels?
No.
Trustee Lundy,
Aye.
Trustee Special?
Aye.
The ayes have it, and the resolution adopting a work from home policy for the Village of Sugar Grove is approved. We will now open public comments. Would anyone like to make a public comment?
There's no signups at all on the sheet.
Hearing none, we will close public comment at this time. Our next item is a discussion item on the sale of nitrous oxide to minors. Chief Rollins will present this item.
Good evening. I just want to clarify too that I want to expand this just beyond the minors. The minors are targeted, but this also applies to adults. So nitrous oxide's been around for a very long time. Back in the early 80s and 1990s, there was small little canisters that were aluminum in nature, and there's some pictures that are part of the board report. They're called whippets. As old-time officers, we used to find these in parking lots. We used to find them in playgrounds. We used to find them in all alleys and a couple other places that you were like, what is this? And it was a big trend back in the early 1990s. Whippets, obviously everyone's aware, can be used for medical purposes as well as for culinary use for where they are making whipped cream. Today, recreationally, those small little canisters have been supercharged. So if you look at Tracy's pink water bottle there, that's the size that we're seeing that are being sold in establishments. That's the size that are being sold and online. If you walk into one of our retail establishments, it's available for sale. Now the sale of the larger ones come at a hefty price. They're approximately $135 to $150 something. But what is that purpose and what is it being used for? It's being sold under many names. In the state of Illinois, back in 1996, changed the law allowing the sale of nitrous oxide. So it is currently legal. It's just become a new wave of obviously causing harm to individuals that want to take advantage of it and use it recreational for frolics, for changing their voice, or for self-medicating themselves. Our local establishment, they're seeing most of their buyers are between the ages of 30 and 45, they said. They're not selling it to a younger age group, according to them. However, this is also being sold online, as you can see. So there's no requirements in Illinois that you can be, as long as you can get on Alexa, you can get on all these other devices, you can have a kid order up any type of nitrous oxide that they want to. So what I'm hoping to do is just bring forward that there's legislation that's currently pending. It was introduced back in February of this year. It's still stuck in committee that prohibits the sale of nitrous oxide from certain establishments. And those establishments have been, if your revenues have exceeded 50% for selling tobacco, or if it comes from 50% selling alcoholic beverages, then it would be illegal to sell nitrous oxide in those establishments. 2 non-home rule communities in Illinois have banned the sale of nitrous oxides based on that. They're the ones that, actually it was Chief Jeff, Jeff's gonna kill me because it will come to me in a second, his name, but Jeff was the chief of police in Manhattan, Illinois. They were the first community in the state of Illinois to ban the sale of nitrous oxide. He started seeing this re-pop up, this resurgence of finding all the whippets and all the bigger canisters strewn around in his community. And then he got the initiation with his legislatures that he's in contact down there to introduce the bill. Again, this was illegal prior to 1996 to sell nitrous oxide in the open market. Today, it's unfortunately sold locally, sold online, and sold in other establishments, so it's available. I just want to make sure that the parents that are out there to be aware of it, to do some research and understand that there's dangers involved when it starts affecting the brain. There's been some cases where the intoxication has led to major damages, to deaths. There's $1 million lawsuits against certain companies, or judgments, I should say, and I don't know where those stand today, but those are across the country right now. So, but we are a non-home rule community, and we do have a business in town selling, but again, any online retailer can still ship. Even if we try to do something locally, can still ship to an address and provide these products. So just keep that in mind. Be happy to answer any questions you may have.
I have a question for you. Why now Illinois changed the rule from it's illegal to legal? What's the reason? It makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't have that. I don't have that answer. What transpired back in that day? There was this.
It's bizarre.
This was big back in the bar scenes, where you were getting shots of this, and I'm not sure, I could be wrong about this, the industry themselves might have got the law changed to allow them to have these type of parties and these environments. So.
And then I think also they were changing the marketing to look like a baking item, and so like, you know, some of the sales of actual baking items could have been involved. I had a question. So when you said 2 non-home municipalities?
No, 2 home rule.
Oh, home rule.
Yes.
Okay.
So Manhattan and Homer Glen are both home rule communities.
Okay.
Both have banned it in the businesses that have sales for basically vape shops or alcohol sales.
There is an advertisement going around, one of those, like, if this happened to you, then, you know, contact these attorneys and join our class action. It looks like there are attorneys that are looking to gather people that were injured to sue, I think, is Walmart as a seller of this. I could be wrong about the retailer, but I think they were one of them. Would it help in our community if we possibly like got a letter together that all the Board of Trustees signed encouraging the retailer not to sell this, and also mentioning that it looks like attorneys are looking to potentially have a class action against the retailers that sell these whippets that look like baking items?
I'd be happy to take whatever direction the board would like us to do.
Do you think that would help? Like, would the retailer be open to like a suggestion?
A strong discussion was inquired about the voluntary not sell. If the voluntary not sell it, then it could still be sold. So the law permits them to sell it at their own peril. Again, some of these businesses are now, if they could tie it back to where it was purchased from the lawsuit I read, one of the vape shops is being sued.
Yeah.
Out of state, not here in Illinois.
Okay.
But that's at their peril. But if that's the direction of the board, be happy to look into that.
Is that, board, is that something you would want to consider as a letter from all of us encouraging the retailer to stop selling? No. You don't think?
I'm in favor of an ordinance that would prohibit it. I think we've done it with synthetic marijuana.
I don't think we can.
Oh.
As non-home, from my understanding.
What we'd have to do is have to figure out if we could, one of the delegated powers of the state, we could put it in there. So for example, like what are our authorities with foreign substances, et cetera, with health issues, et cetera. I mean, I'm not sure. If the power is not delegated by the state to us, we can't do it.
Yeah.
But there might be a way. We'd have to figure that out.
Don't we prohibit the sale of synthetic marijuana at one point?
Not to my knowledge, it's not part of our village code.
Oh, it's not?
So there are communities that have done that, again, home rule communities, and some not-home communities, they haven't, to my knowledge, they haven't been challenged. But yes, it's just that it's playing catch-up because they just keep changing the ingredients or the code to each of those different spices that they're putting in them to change it up. So.
Well, with that, there's a hemp issue right now where
Correct.
basically hemp is, what is it, Delta 9 or whatever it is. And they've carved out ways to kind of deal with it in the non-home rule communities with that specifically, even though the legislature, it's a loophole in a sense. We'd have to figure out some way to do that under our delegated powers if we were to do this. I'd have to look at it.
Yeah, and it only applies that, we do have a business that's selling it, but what happens to all the businesses that deliver to home? So what do you do for that? So.
I understand that we're not gonna be able to, everyone can get it online, essentially.
Correct.
With this.
At any age, which is
At any
concerning.
age.
And at any age.
And that sounds like something we need that's
Yeah.
a little bit bigger than us
Right.
to try to address. And I'm assuming this has a legitimate use.
It does.
And I don't want to ban the legitimate use of it. So I understand the concern. I don't know, is this something that you talk to school kids about? Is this one of the items? Do you know?
It isn't. So we're not trying to highlight this item at all.
Okay.
Because out of fear of experimenting with it, because there are no age restrictions. But if we start seeing it pop up with kids in the community, we have to be prepared. Obviously, there's options when you're interacting with your legislatures at the Metro West or going downstate. We need to get this type of bill pushed out of the committee.
Okay.
This is year 2, I believe, that it was reintroduced. It has not made its way. October is veto session. I don't think they can introduce this to get it out, but maybe they could tag it along. I don't know. So it's a long haul from here. Plenty of news stories, local news, Chicago news. I've gone out to these other communities. You can look it up. They've done stories on this. It just isn't getting the push yet of the dangers.
So I'm on the Metro West Legislative Committee starting this year, so I can bring up to them to try to make this, get HB 0063 on the radar if possible, and try to get them behind it. I can't imagine any of the communities would be against this because it's not banning it wholesale, it's really where it's sold at. So it's not, you're buying it in a place with alcohol, you're probably not going there because you're gonna make some new cooking thing, you looked it up online, it's probably you're there because of different reasons.
Right.
So I think that this bill is a better fit for that. I don't know how much it would help with the online part of it, which that's really gonna be a struggle, I think. But, I will bring this up specifically as an item with that committee.
Email the legislators from the village president email address, and any other board member that wants to support it can email them as well. We'll see.
For us in law enforcement, it's very hard, unless someone admits to it, it's very hard for us to determine that they're intoxicated. Short half-life of this, and having a drug test to do that, other than going back and reviewing footage that they bought it, that we found the canister, a spent canister in their vehicle, and they were involved in a crash. So it's tough. It's one of the toughest ones for us to take any type of enforcement, because there is stuff in the law for illegal for recreational, use of it. So.
Is there any other discussion? Thank you very much. Our next item up for discussion is a boundary agreement with Alburn, and Scott Koppel will present this item.
All right, hello everybody. So this is the only boundary agreement we don't have with one of our neighboring municipalities is indeed Alburn. Just as an item that I included in the packet, which kind of shows the long-term, like I guess for lack of a better word, handshake agreement with Alburn has been Main Street. That's reflected on the comp plan map that's in your packet. That's where we ran the map up to from the northern end of the village was Main Street, as if that was officially in place. So I guess from what's been explained to me and from discussions that we've had with Elburn, the intersection of Main Street and 47, and especially there's one specific corner that would be a very viable commercial site, and that is the reason behind why everybody kind of wants that spot. And where Elburn in the past has recommended maybe Green Road as the line headed east, and that's not something that the village was comfortable with. So we had a meeting with Elburn. We talked about economic development, like we discussed at the last meeting. I'll have some updates on that coming in the future, but this was something else that we wanted to get resolved, to get a boundary agreement done. And when we had the discussions, both village presidents seemed to be pretty open to the idea of having a boundary agreement, and then if anybody gets in close proximity to the intersection of Main and 47, then either party is able to open the agreement up again. So the thought process is if anybody gets there first, then they could potentially be able to do that and service that corner, because neither of us have made a lot of progress in that direction, other than, well, of course, the village, we added the Crown property. So we're moving that way a little bit, but we're still quite a bit away and quite a high infrastructure cost to do that. So I met with and talked to village attorney Brian Miller about that, and he drafted the agreement that is in your packet. This has been sent to Elburn for their review. They, I believe, were supposed to discuss it at their committee of the whole yesterday, but I haven't got any updates back from them to date. There's also a kind of a map there that it just shows, like with a highlighter, essentially where the line would be. And we'll go through with EEI to come up with a more formal map and legal description if both parties agree to move forward. And we likely split the expense for both EEI villages, so that's something that we could work on together, but we didn't want to expend the funds ahead of that time period. So I want to bring that for your discussion tonight and get feedback to hopefully move forward. Happy to answer questions.
Is Main Street within 1.5 miles of our jurisdiction? And does that matter when signing a boundary agreement? Brian, is it?
It does matter. I assume it is. I don't know if it's actually, but we have, according to state law, it's within 1.5 miles. I mean, you could tell me better than if it's not.
It's close. So maybe with us having the Crown property annex, it's there at 1.5 miles. And I think that's somewhat been the hindrance in signing a boundary agreement is the 1.5 mile jurisdiction. So just something to look into. This was a line that was discussed back in the late 90s when Mayor Willie was village president of Elburn, but we weren't within that 1.5 miles, so nothing ever came about. So, but I'm happy with Main Street. It's a good boundary agreement for Sugar Grove.
So I have a question on that. Whoever gets to 47 and Main Street first, but if we are sharing an economic development director, how does that work? I mean, if you know, we get somebody who says, I love this spot, and they work, and the person they're coming to, the economic development director, works for both of us, who decides?
I think there's an update on that. I don't think that Elburn is ready to go ahead with that at this time. I think they have budget issues and aren't ready to go forward with the director.
So they had said the earliest they would want to do it would be at budget, so it would be May of next year. So I'll be bringing that back for discussion with the board. But essentially the way that it's number 7 in the draft agreement, and it would be really dependent upon who got utilities there first. I think it's extremely unlikely that Elburn and the village of Sugar Grove would both get utilities to that intersection at roughly the same time. Okay. So whatever municipality had utilities there first, then we'd be able to open the agreement and essentially go there. So that would take the decision making, I think, out of the hands of the economic development person if that was a reality, because you know, one of the two of us is going to get there, but I think it's very unlikely to happen at the same time. I don't know, Tony.
Well, I was going to say, we had subdivisions, draft ideas with subdivisions all the way to Main Street, but it wasn't going to be connected to the current village water system. So, I mean, they were presented to us years ago. It was going to be one of those rural, large lot, equestrian subdivision and stuff. And so we were reviewing it, and it had nothing to, they weren't going to run village utilities at the time.
When were you reviewing that subdivision?
2005.
Is that when it was? Yeah. So I mean, I'm saying we did even look at stuff in the past. Obviously, the people that owned it, Oliver Hoffman, has sold it, but it's still property up there is owned by a corporation or a group or something. So, I mean, I don't know. Nobody says we even have to consider it,
right.
But utilities wasn't the end all.
Yeah, one of the stumbling blocks was police services was 7-minute drive of non-village property to get to that subdivision. So, just because it's in our planning area, I don't even know if we want to annex it, but at least it gives us some control up to that line.
Because in the last 20 years, there hasn't been development in that area, so I think it's more imperative that we get a boundary agreement worked out and then just revisit that area in the future.
I got an update mid-meeting from Danny. So thank you, Danny. It is about 0.8 miles from the northern end of the village. So thank you. That's why we got our laptop. And that will work. So that is within the bound.
Russ, and then would that be consideration for Auburn? Because I know they're further than 1.5 miles. So, because they, as far south as they go is Hughes Road, and from Hughes to the corner of 47 and Main Street, probably closer to 2.5, 3 miles.
We'll definitely investigate that before they could even bring it for approval. So.
This is where we've kind of understood it to be, where we've kind of worked out all over the years.
There was some concern in the past for residents of Nottingham Woods, Willow Creek, basically that triangle where the cursor is to the northwest. And we had excluded that more to pacify the residents and reassure them that we would not force annex them.
I believe they're Kaneland or Big Rock right now because it's not on our map. If you look at the map, it's not the Elburn agreement. It's a different boundary agreement that includes that, and not us. Is it? Sorry? Caneville. Yeah. So it's the Caneville agreement that includes that. So even if Elburn is all the way across Main Street, we have other. If you can scroll up a little bit, see how it's not included. That part is not included in our map because of the fact that it's mostly because of it's in Caneville's.
Would there be any reason to make it match the comp plan? The Main Street line?
If at any point we changed it with Caneville, then we could have the potential of going. I think that's really far. That would be really far away from Elburn.
Well, you have forest preserve contiguous.
Yeah.
So I mean, you've got different things at play depending on how it. I mean, yeah, I don't see us ever being in that triangle, which the comp plan shows. I mean, you've got a large forest preserve over there. You've got those unincorporated subdivisions, and it was a concern for those residents. And I don't know if this brings up that concern or if it, I don't know, I'm bringing it up for discussion. For
Yeah,
the board.
me too. That's, yeah.
If we should just conform to this, which lines up with our current boundary agreements with somebody else.
I think, so if you're saying to include the corner in question, I don't think Elburn is willing to do that at this time. Like, it would be the same.
It's excluding, yeah, it's cutting out more property.
The comp plan map, is this the same as the one?
That's the comp plan map,
taken?
yeah.
Because it does include.
It takes that whole,
Or did you?
it takes that whole, here, this whole piece out, our comp plan. You just have, you have CV Road west of 47. And then, other than that, that whole west of 47 is outside our comp plan to 88.
Yeah.
And that was a big discussion during the comp plan adoption, and that was excluded based on the comp plan, and like Sean just said, so I wouldn't want to, I have a concern of creating a problem that doesn't exist because our comp plan already excludes it and our boundary agreement with Caneville excludes it, but I really wouldn't want to say if our Caneville boundary agreement expired, but the Alberns were still in place, that we would, the village board at that time, X amount of years in the future, would try to go into that. I don't know. I mean, Sean, I guess you're more familiar with, you were on the comp plan.
Yeah, I would like to exclude that part of Elburn, just to reassure those residents.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying, just follow the comp plan.
Yeah, and just confirm that it is out of the Caneville. Again, I don't remember the Caneville one well enough, but it must be because we're not showing it in our plan.
It is.
Right.
So how does that differ from what's being proposed?
It cuts this out.
Yeah, so we're just,
So instead of the possibility of us having like a feature, something on that corner, you want to close?
It would keep the southeast corner of Main Street and 47 in Sugar Grove.
Is that the corner that has a potential of a future gas station?
And because of the water, I think it has to be southeast is the viable corner.
So you're, okay.
Because
And
the northwest is the fisherman's center.
Right.
yeah.
But that's what we're saying, like, so you're saying you want to keep only that corner right now?
Yes.
But we
And
don't have
follow
an
the
agreement
comp plan.
we don't have an agreement with Elburn, and Elburn wants that corner to stay, whoever gets there first.
We're giving up a corner.
Yeah, but it's not the corner. I mean, we can give up a corner, but are we like forcing Elburn then to agree to us getting the southeast corner?
I don't think anybody's saying to take the language out about whoever reaches first with the utilities.
Right.
So that would still be in
Oh, you're
effect.
saying keep that in there and just give up.
Change
give
the
up
line.
corner.
Yeah,
Okay.
give up west
I'm
of
okay.
47 down to CV,
Okay.
like our comp plan.
I mean, if we get there, you're saying, basically trade, kind of you're saying, or you want to put it in the
No,
agreement?
he's saying right now, cut out the corner.
Okay, do it right now, okay.
But still leave the southeast corner, whoever
Right,
gets
the
there
triangle,
first.
right, the triangle.
Okay. I need-
Match the comp
It's-
plan.
yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm getting it fixed, but I'm like, here,
Right.
It's got a dotted line there. It's real hard to see on the comp plan. And we've got growth boundary and recommended for annexation, and if you look along part of that, it is a dotted line on the comp plan.
It's a big county, it's a county
Here's the four
subdivision, yeah.
so we keep this, just not
Right.
these two.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're primarily county subdivisions, and they're, just over the years, residents of Nottingham Woods, Willow Creek, they expressed concern in Red Oak, is that where Dale is? Just, we're concerned that the village would force annex them. We don't want that and want to alleviate any concerns that they have.
But what if, and so right now, that piece is going to be annexed into Caneville, right? But what if they wanted to, in the future, annex to Sugar Grove instead of Caneville? Are we sure we want to close that door?
Yeah. You can always change down the road that's kind of if it came up that way, but I think you should, I think trying to make a good point, we should close it now so everybody feels okay.
I've only talked to a couple residents that I can think of that lived over there, but I don't think they were aware that if they were annexed in the future, it would be Caneville, not Sugar Grove.
I don't even know if Caneville might have eliminated that corner too, because there was years ago a lot of concern that some municipality would force annex those residents, and I think at the time we talked to Kingville, they might have even blacked that out. Kingville wanted the corner where Fisherman's Inn is. And
Yeah. But what if?
Auburn could still do a different boundary agreement with Caneville if Auburn still wanted that. I'm just saying, we wouldn't want it, we wouldn't do anything at Fisherman's Inn, and we would just follow the comp plan, which it was excluded based on feedback from the participants of the comp plan meetings.
There's really no benefit for a municipality to annex an estate lot like that. You don't have water, sewer to maintain, you don't want to send police down there. So, there's really not much of a benefit to annex.
Just purely speaking on revenues, that would be a huge cost and not very much revenue at all because we get a very small portion of the property.
Yeah.
Just the dollars and cents. I mean, there might be other reasons, but dollars and cents wise, it is not.
This is that.
Correct.
So look into it a little further, Scott?
Yeah, we'll talk to Albert about the distances, but I think I've got clear feedback tonight to say that the board is interested in getting up there by Main Street and then maybe doing that trapezoid that's right now Caneville, and make sure we codify that as well in the agreement.
When you bring this back, can you also include the other boundary agreements so we can see how they line up, like with Caneville?
Yeah, yes. We'll be pulling those and reviewing them as well.
Yeah, so we'll want to.
I don't want to go into.
Good view of what everything is.
Right, I don't want to go into what we've got in agreement with Caneville as
we need.
well.
Yeah, when we're making one, because this is the only municipality we don't have a border agreement with. We need to make sure we know where all the other border agreements are and when they expire.
Absolutely, yep. That'll be a good update.
Let's get that done.
All right, any other discussion? Great, we will move on to discussion about the agreement with Man Anastasia for professional services. Scott Koppel will present this.
Thank you. So this is pretty straightforward. Assuming that the board would like to move forward with this, I would ask that Attorney Ryan Miller draft an agreement. I've discussed briefly with Matt, he wanted to go for $95 an hour, which is a good deal for these types of services. If we were to engage with Lauterbach and Amon or a different finance firm, it would be considerably more than that to have them do any type of work. He's familiar with our systems, and then he'll be working at the company that does our financial system, so he'll be even more of an expert and have access to things on that front. But the big part will be, we do have levies coming up fairly soon. We'll have a new person on board while we hope to get somebody with municipal or perhaps county or other district that collects property tax and does levies experience. It'll be good to access Matt, and he's willing to help train the new person. And then if we have any big issues that come up in between, myself or Brett could contact him to make sure that things just keep running smoothly. So this is something I highly advise, and will definitely be worth the money as far as getting the next person online, answering important questions, and then working through the budget. We've had two extremely efficient budget processes since I've been here, and Matt has set us up with great policies and great work. But being able for him to answer questions and help out the new person, I think, will be invaluable. So this I think is a great deal for the village.
I wholeheartedly support it.
Yeah.
So you can work 2,000 hours a year doing this?
No, he's not collecting him or her.
Yeah. So Scott, will you be an independent contractor or still employed?
So he'd be probably 1099?
Yeah. Okay. That's what I was looking at. Okay.
Because it would be a fair number of hours, but not that many. And we've got a pretty, the department runs really well, thanks in large part to Matt. And the big part will be special things that come up, like we've got one oddball, like a tax agreement with Dunkin' Donuts, and they're not doing something. And so how do we put that on the books about transferring money? It's like a really, maybe never even happened to us before thing that he could offer insights about. But as far as vouchers, payroll, utility billing, utility collecting, the team is really great at all of those day-to-day things. And then, like I said, there's a lot of once-a-year things. We have to do our TIP reporting and have a TIP meeting we have to do the property tax levies, the budget, the audit. They happen one time a year, and if you haven't done it before, it'll just be nice to have a resource, and Matt's willing to do it, so I think it's something that we should.
So the key question is to ask our finance director, it's still working right now, can we afford this?
Of course he's gonna say yes, right?
So because of my departure and hiring somebody else, there's gonna be a gap of salary as well. So you'll save money there. And like Scott said, we don't anticipate being a lot of hours, but coming into kind of fall, winter, it's a little busy for us as finance. Finance is usually slow, spring, summer. Just with 6 months coming up, tax levy, budgets coming, TIF reporting, like Brad just brought up the 3-year, we have a utility rate committee we have to do that we do every 3 years, that's coming up. So it's just like one-time things that we get, but I don't anticipate being a ton, but it's also just a resource like me and Scott have talked about, is just save everything you have a question on, and I get on a Teams call for an hour or two and just answer all the questions that have come up that week, and it's just a standing meeting or something. So I don't anticipate being a lot, and with that gap of a new person and then me leaving, I think there will be savings in just salary alone on that.
And potential salary difference in the hiring. And the hiring a new person, Matt's been here for 8.5 years, so they'd likely to come in at a lower rate, so we would have a savings there just for the rest of the budget year.
Had to ask.
One final finance.
Any other discussion? And now we will move on to a discussion regarding the utility billing policy, and Matt and Anastasia will present these things.
So this was discussed 2 meetings ago about utility billing policies, and there was a lot of discussion back and forth on just more research to be done. So there were some items that were requested by the board. One was irrigation system certifications that we required. So we currently have 714 registered irrigation systems in the village, which is a lot more than I anticipated. But we also don't collect that certification fee. It goes to the company that does it, and then they just provide us the certification. So no real way for us to kind of waive a fee if there was a fee, if that was a way. So that was a pretty significant number. And then we looked at water irrigation systems, just watering credits. So the data that I've received didn't really change on who does it and who doesn't. We reached out to Fox Metro because that was brought up as they give one for watering and pools and everything, and how they determine it. So that's in here. So basically anything over, they take the average of the summer, and then they also take the average of the winter, and anything 20% and over, they give a credit for. And that's discretionary, they say, but I haven't heard somebody say they don't get them. But that's could be every billing cycle. They bill every 2 months. And looking at it, so looking at just an example of somebody with an irrigation system we looked at their summer usage, we looked at their winter usage, did that calculation based on Fox Metro. It's about an average of $140 for one bill. If you multiply that by 714 irrigation, and that's just irrigation systems, it's over $100,000 in credits that you would be giving if one credit per resident per year. I know Fox Metro does it as many times as you call. And that doesn't include what Sean brought up of what if just somebody's just watering? They don't have an irrigation system. So this is just including the known people. So when we kind of get down to that, it's a pretty expensive kind of credit to give on there. Just to give you an idea, 1% increase that we did this year was only $42,000 in revenue. So this is about a 2.5% increase that we would need to cover, meaning everyone else is going to be paying to give these credits to irrigation systems. So the one that was actually sent to us from Kane County that Scott got was they have a Kane County smart irrigation system that they're kind of piloting that for water efficient sprinkler systems. So that information is in there, and that from staff perspective, looking at the revenues and how much this could really affect us is really just kind of push that information out as much as we can, but open to if the board's looking at a different policy. I did request how many pool filling credits we actually give. 4. We've gotten 4 requests this year. So that's not a huge number in comparison to the watering irrigation system. So open to discussion on if there needs to be a change to the policy or what the board feels.
So we give pool filling credit if someone calls Matt.
Yeah, once a year you get a pool bill. You'll get your bill and then you can call, we can see it, we'll credit it down to the average of the 3 months prior to that spike in the bill, just on the sewer.
I like the idea of being able to tell anybody that asks, maybe refer them to that system that you had found so they can save money by using a more efficient system. But like Tony said, I don't think we can give a credit just for watering because it would be in a contradiction to the water conservation ordinance.
I agree.
Okay. All right, yeah, we'll use that flyer, and we're actually gonna have Tracy put that on our website, linking to that King County flyer, and so that's on our water conservation portion of our page too.
Thank you so much. We will now move on to staff reports. Scott Koppel.
So my report is in your packet. Also wanted to mention the biggest probably thing I'm working on right now is, of course, the recruitment for a new finance director, and then also a big data download for Matt. We'll go into the conference room and run some things through with me in greater detail until my brain is like a sponge and can only take so much, and then we'll do it again later on. But he's been great in putting together, transferring information, and he's working on a salary study to help us coming up as well, and he went through that with myself and Chief, so we're very updated on it as it's finishing, and we'll be able to present it in the future to the board and be able to bring the next person online. So that's the biggest to-do that I've got on my calendar. So, but happy to answer questions.
Are you both putting together like some sort of handbook type thing? Is that
Yep.
anything supplemental?
Yeah, so in my staff, I have kind of like a list of exit interview items things that are coming up in the future with deadlines, knowing these are things that need to be done.
Yeah.
Things I can't get done between now and October 3rd, I am.
Thank you.
I'm gonna try to get the TIF reports done now that the audit's approved. So
Thank
some of
you.
that stuff was all waiting. But yeah, I have a list of running things and just outstanding items that I've been working on and that I'll meet with Scott with.
Awesome, thank you.
And I have a pending any day now leave coming up, so I'm putting down some of the things that would need to be covered as well.
It looks like the FOIA requests have not gone down from last year to this year.
Not really. It's coming in at about the same pace.
Okay, so no change in that.
And Matt, Anastasia.
I don't really have anything. Again, I really appreciate everything that Sugar Grove's offered me, and I wish the best in the future, and I'm here as a resource if needed.
Thank you so much.
Wish you the best.
And yeah, wish you the best. Danny Marion.
I have nothing to add.
Chief Rollins.
Dean, I don't know, there's been some talk on Facebook about groundwater in the Grove development. Is there anything we should know about, or is there plans to address?
Our engineers are reviewing all the plans, still going through final engineering review. They've been issued their at-risk mass grading permit. Everything that's happening on site is normal par for the course from my understanding that I'm getting back feedback from our engineers.
All right. And I don't know what a municipality can do. Being a builder, you build homes, and some pumps run a lot and continuously, and it's somewhat of a risk that a homeowner takes. But on the other hand, if there's things we can do to help out homeowners because they don't like to have sump pumps run all the time.
Once we get to the point of issuing building permits, part of those inspections are putting foundation inspections, and we get the soil reports for every foundation home permit that we get. We look at all that stuff.
Yeah, because we are requiring soil reports for all of our residential lots.
The soil report doesn't necessarily tell you how high the groundwater is around the house. It'll tell you if the soil's good, but it won't tell you that, the groundwater level's high and the sump pump's gonna run. As a precaution, a lot of times we'll put extra drain tiles in the foundation inside underneath the basement slab
Right.
to help relieve that hydraulic pressure. But it's something to keep,
I know it's on our engineer's
Oh.
radars, as they're reviewing everything.
like to hear about that in the future once. And maybe the groundwater isn't that high, maybe it's just until they get it drained, it'll eventually go down. But something to keep us abreast of this.
So we're looking at it from a legal perspective and an engineering perspective as well. There will be some additional updates in the future, but that's all.
Okay.
Let's see, Brad Merkel.
The only thing I have to add is Saturday, we received verbal notice to proceed from IDOT with the US 30 municipal crosswalk. So the contracts have all been signed with Schroeder Asphalt, and we're waiting for submittals on equipment. So,
On a Saturday, they notified?
yeah. And I immediately sent it to Scott because I was excited. I'm like, this is unbelievable. On a Saturday from IDOT, we can't usually get a reply from them during the week.
And I saw in a bulletin, I think it was online, that they've announced that they're going to do the widening of 47 spring of 2027.
Yeah, they're still in negotiations with the BNSF.
Okay.
So we have a status hearing, I think it's in October, I have to dig to follow up with them, so they come to some kind of agreement, so.
Okay.
ComEd certainly thinks it's gonna happen. You've seen that they've been moving the poles?
Yeah.
So they're on it.
I think you'll see, obviously you already see action south of the county line, they're moving all those poles, I think that'll go first.
Okay.
And then us.
Because I guess District 3 is gonna run their part of the project,
Yeah.
and then District 1 is gonna run their part. We originally thought one district was gonna do the whole thing, but that's not the case. That changed, what, about 6 months ago or something?
Yeah,
Brent?
something.
So it's gonna be split, which
Maybe a little
will,
more than that, but yeah.
hopefully the roads align at the county line, right?
Unless they keep it in the right of way.
Yeah. And have you seen any plans about addressing Mallard Point? And I guess taking the stormwater that comes from underneath the viaduct and then it goes down?
They're still not finalized with all that stuff yet, so we're waiting to see the final plans for that.
And you'll review it with either, well, HR Green's the...
HR Green is working with us on all that, yes.
But isn't HR Green doing the state work?
They are.
Yeah.
But we hired them separately for our water and sewer relocation.
Okay.
So we'll either have them, or we may even send out a Trotter when they're finalized and have them look at it one more time.
Oh, yeah. I would encourage us look at having Trotter since they
did all the Mallard stuff. The only problem is Susan that worked for Trotter that did all that is no longer.
Oh, really?
Has there been any response, or I'm sure you would have told us, but any response or update at all on 47 in Park?
No, he keeps just saying that it's by being reviewed. I hit him every month, I send him an email and ask for an update. And it's in photometrics or something like that now, which should have been in that already, but.
How long did it take to get the approval for the approval that you just got? How many months would you
It's
say?
been at least two and a half years, probably, maybe 3.
2.5 years. And then how long have we been asking for 47 in Park?
About the same.
Oh, about the same.
They're both about the same, yeah.
Okay.
So any day now.
Yeah, I would have thought the park in 47 would have been sooner, just
Yeah.
because of the crosswalk safety stuff, but it's bizarre what their problem is.
Thank you for working on it. Trustee reports. Trustee Lindy.
First, I want to tell Matt, I'm really gonna miss you. I mean, you can go through our budget report and actually have my attention the whole time. Pretty impressive. And you have been so valuable to this village, and I don't know what we're gonna do without you, honestly. I'm gonna miss you a lot, and the village is gonna miss you a lot. And I wish you the best in what you're gonna be, where you're going and what you're doing. I attended the bridge ribbon cutting on Friday and did the bike ride, and that was phenomenal. I think it was well attended, and I know that bridge gets used all the time. Yeah. And it is very much appreciated. And then Thursday, I'm going to be attending the IML conference downtown, so. That's it.
Trustee Special.
Yeah, I did attend the ribbon cutting as well. And I do want to compliment the village and all the government bodies. I just am impressed with the project being completed and how good that it turned out. The remarkable work with working with other government entities. I mean, you've got village, you've got the township, you've got the Park District and Kane County Forest Preserve District, and whose property is which, and everything that it takes to get that out. I just want to compliment all the governments working together. I think I'm thrilled. Obviously been working on it for a long time. Like Brad said, some of that stuff 2.5 years for approval, but I just think it's great. It turned out great. I'm happy and compliment everybody that worked on it. And my other part is same with Matt. I mean, I was part of the crew that interviewed the guy when he came and applied here, and he was just as outstanding in his interview as he's been the whole time. So I'm gonna miss you, Matt.
Trustee Michaels.
Attended the bridge opening for the Blackberry Creek, and I'm encouraged, and I hope we can take on another project, and would like to maybe encourage the village and Park District Township to send out a questionnaire to see what small programs people would like to see, or improvements in bike trails or pedestrian trails, and then larger ones too, to sort of set the stage for a future bike committee or trails committee to get together and start working on the next big project. And then Groovin' in the Grove was the night before, and that was well attended. It was a great band. I hope we get to have them back. And then we went to Wabanse's open house for their new tech building. The young man that is the instructor, runs the program, I know, and we were talking to him. They get 300 applicants within 3 minutes of opening up classes for their auto body program, and therefore they have a waiting list, but they take 300 applicants in 3 minutes, and then the course is closed because of oversubscription.
That's great.
So it's really needed service in this area. So anyways, congratulations to Wabanse on a very nice facility. That's all.
Trustee Roscoe.
The report.
For President's report, the one thing I wanted to ask everyone, the Canopy program for adults with autism, they're looking at potentially building a new building off of 47, and they really like our support for the 5K to try to raise funds for that. They plan to have additional services and mental health services in that building. It's a really beautiful building they're hoping to get. So if anyone is able to, please let Tracy know, and we're trying to get a team together for that 5K. You just have to wear crazy socks. And that is all.
What day is that, do you know?
October 25th.
It's the same day as Trunk or Treat, but not the same time, so you can have a really fun day all day. All right, is there a motion and a second to enter executive session to discuss litigation 5 ILCS 122C11 and to adjourn the meeting afterward as there is no further business to discuss?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a first from Trustee Michaels and a second from Trustee Roscoff, and we'll now move into executive session. After roll call, please.
Trustee Michaels?
Aye.
Trustee Roscoff?
Aye.
Trustee Lundy.
Aye.
Trustee Special?
Aye.
The ayes have it. We will now move into executive session.